Hey, this is Mr. Molo. Going to go through the 2526 review with you here quick. So I'm going to do a couple of problems. You're going to do the rest, not as much as last time. And then I'll give you some hints on some of the ones that are a little trickier. So the first one we're going to look at is 2. So we just need to write out the compound inequality for this graph. So I see I got a 2 over here, and I got a 7. Put my x in the middle. Now I got to figure out my signs. So it looks like it's going to the right, so that I know it's going to be x has to be greater than, and since it's a filled in circle, equal to. That makes sense. X is greater than or equal to 2. So like 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then over here, it looks like it's going to be a less than, because 6 is shaded, 5 is shaded, 4 is shaded. So it's going to be a less than sign. So 2 is less than or equal to x, and that's less than 7. All right, and then number 4. We see is an OR problem. Okay, m is less than, less than -3, or m is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so no math required on those first couple. All right, now let's look at number 6 first. Okay, so 6 is a compound inequality, so I need to make my 2 equations here. So one equation, I'm going to take the left side, so I got 15 is greater than -5t. And on the other side, remember we share the middle, so -5t is greater than or equal to -10. All right, so then it's -5 times t, so I'm going to divide both sides by -5. So I end up with 15 divided by -5 is -3. I divided by a negative, so my sign gets flipped. So to a less than sign, t. And then over here, same thing. Divide both sides by -5, divide both sides by -5. So t is, again, flip the sign because I divided by a negative, less than or equal to, and it's going to be 2 here. All right, and then it wants us, since it's an and problem, we should write it so that we get -3 is less than t, and that's less than or equal to 2. So I kind of just put those two together there to get that one. All right, let's look at number 8. So 8 we like a little better because it's an OR problem. So it's a h plus 7, so I'm going to subtract 7 from each side. So h is less than 2. I'm sorry, -2. Then over here, it's a -9 times h, so I'm going to divide both sides by -9. So I get h, I divided by a negative, so I flip the sign, is greater than, and negative side 45 divided by -9 is a +5. And since it's an OR problem, we don't have to rewrite it, we can just leave it like that. All right, and then hints about 11 and 12. Make sure you read the directions. One of them is a no solution, one of them is a many solution. So make sure you're not solving like here. Once you get to that certain step, it'll tell you then, you'll get something funky like, oh, x has to be less than 4 and greater than or equal to 4. Well, that's all the numbers, because there's not a number that's less than 4 and greater than or equal to 4. That's everything. So you're going to get a many solution kind of thing for that. Or a no solution if it says, oh, I want a number, smaller than 7 but bigger than 10. Well, that's not possible. There's no number that's smaller than 7 and bigger than 10. Okay, so look at the 2/6 side here. So x is less than 4, absolute value is by itself, so we like those. So I'm just going to write it. X is less than 4. And then remember, we changed something about our second equation. We're going to change 2 things, actually. X is greater than a -4. So these first 2 shouldn't be too bad because there's not really any math in there. 3, we got some math here. So absolute value is already by itself. We like that. So k plus 8 is greater than 2. And then for my second equation, k plus 8, and remember we're going to flip it, is now less than a -2. Okay, so I have a k plus 8, so I'm going to end up subtracting 8. So k is greater than a -6. And then same thing over here. Oops. I'm going to -8 because it's a +8. So k is less than a -10. So greater than -6 or less than -10. Okay. Careful on number 4. 4 has a 2 outside the absolute value bar, so you need to get rid of that first. Same thing on number 9. 9 has something outside the absolute value bars, so you need to get rid of that first. Careful on number 5. The answer is a negative. Hopefully you remember what that means. And same thing on number 7. The answer is a negative. So hopefully you remember what that means. So kind of some tricks there. All right, and then let's look at number 8. Okay, 8, again, we like absolute value bars by itself, unlike the 2 I just talked about. So I'm just going to rewrite 8 minus 3r is less than 5. And then 8 minus 3r is, flip my sign, greater than, change my number to a negative 5. So I'm going to subtract 8 from each side. So I get negative 3r is less than negative 3. Divide both sides by a negative 3. Since I divided by a negative, my sign gets flipped, so r is greater than, and negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a positive 1. Same thing on the other problem. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, so I get negative 3r is greater than negative 13. Divide both sides by negative 3. And now, unfortunately, we can't simplify 13 over 3, so I'm just going to write r is, flip our sign because I divided by a negative, is less than 13 over 3. They're both negative, so they cancel out to a positive. So then your homework is to finish the rest of this worksheet. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.